Welcome back. It's the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM. And it's time to talk some Hume netball. And joining me on the line to do so is Aimee Riley, our correspondent out of that part of the world. Lovely to have you, Aimee. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks, Alice. It's always a pleasure to be here.
It's always a pleasure to have you. Let's start with Lockhart and how long we thought this might be a close game. In the end, it was to a relative extent 31 Lockhart's final score to 49 in favour of How Long, who got over the line in this one. They'll be wrapped with that, given how strong Lockhart have started the season. So what did you make of that game?
This game was actually nearly goal for goal until half time. It was a really strong win by How Long, who's been playing some excellent netball. Lockhart, after the halftime break, they made quite a few changes and they couldn't quite mesh back together. The lead slid a little bit out and they weren't able to peg it back. Lockhart's best on were Chelsea Hosey and Ruby Hyde, and How Long, Nicola Lane and Marnie Gorman.
All right, Osborne, not much of a challenge for them against Culcan on the road. They finished with a score of 104 to Culcan's 13. So Culcan, we know that it's a season of rebuilding for them. Probably a score that will sort of put that back a little bit, but who knows? Good to get these games out of the way and always a learning experience for the home side.
Absolutely. Osborne's score of 104 was a Hume League A-grade record for as far as we can work out. So we don't like the score line. We like, a nice competitive league, but also full credit to Osborne for their ability to push in their discipline across 4 quarters and the consistent effort. It was a tough day for Culcan, no doubt, but it really was a show of dominance from Osborne as well. They converted turnovers, hunted down so many loose balls. Culcan, to their credit, showed great leadership on and off the court with the older players mentoring some very young Culcan girls. So no doubt a tough game for Culcan, but they would have gotten a lot of lessons out of it and it would set them up really well to be able to keep working on things throughout the season. I don't have any best on from Culcan, but Osborne's were Courtney Menzies and Sophie Edmonds. Both fed really well into the goal circle.
Thriller of a game between the Billabong Crows and Holbrook. It finished 41 in favour of Holbrook to Billabong Crows' 38. Would have been a great game to watch.
Absolutely, and we talked about this being one of the games of the round. It was a really close game full duration. Billabong Crows had the jump for the majority of the game and Holbrook were actually chasing. In the final quarter, Holbrook switched that margin and pushed out their lead a little with only a few minutes left to take home the 4 points. A great 4-quarter effort from both teams, absolutely battling it out, and Holbrook really utilised their patience, while Crows, who unfortunately are still battling a lot of injuries, as we've talked about, couldn't quite get it done. I don't have any best ones for Crows either, but Holbrook's were Jess Rowe and Taylor Byrne.
All right, Henty falling on their sword finally against Gindera. If there's any opponent you're going to do it against, I guess it should be Gindera at this point of the season. 21-50, the final result. So Henty humbled in the end.
Henty would be really pleased with how the game started. They did get the jump on Gindera, and Gindera certainly talked about that a lot as well, that they rested on their laurels a little bit at the start. Henty certainly had some patches of quality netball throughout as well. There's a lot of intent and effort across the court. They utilised rolling subs really well as well to keep bringing on fresh legs. Gindera, as I mentioned, probably had that bit of a slow start. They built momentum towards the back half of the first quarter and just continued that throughout the game. Certainly had some patches of some great play, some patches of perhaps some play that they'll probably take away with some improvement. Their decision-making probably wasn't as consistent as what they normally show either, but Henty had plenty of defensive pressure and plenty of intent across the court, so it was a great game for both sides. Henty's best on were Sheree Locke and Holly Kinney, and Gindera's were Maggie Thompson, Paige Harper and Tegan Bogle.
Another absolute thriller between the Murray Magpies and the Brocklesby Burrumbuttock Saints, finishing with just a margin of just 4 goals separating the two, 54 to Murray Magpies' side in the end. So another great game. This one would have been in the Hume League over the weekend just gone, Aimee.
Third win in a row for Magpies too, which we love to see. It's great to get their confidence growing and the teams working together really well, developing their skills. This was a very even contest for much of the game. They also have a relatively young side. They weren't able to walk away with the points on this occasion, I'm sure they're disappointed with it because they would have known that Magpies would have been a tough game and they might have fancied themselves as well, but no doubt lots of learnings from both sides and great to see some really competitive matches. Magpies' best on were Alicia Schubert and Ash Purtell, and BB Saints' Liz Ehlers.
Finally, the Giants had a pretty easy day out against CDHBU, 45-12, the final score in Walbundry. What did you make of that game?
Another tough game for CDHBU, but their improvement across the court each week is absolutely commendable. Giants were looking to bounce back after a loss the week before, and CDHBU fought until that final whistle and defensively made it hard for Giants ball. Giants pushed well to ensure that there was a good margin in the end to benefit them, but no team gave up easily, so it was a really good fight for that one. Giants' best on was Brianna Higgins, and CDHBU was Grace Gillard and Neve Lavis.
Let's take a look at the ladder and how it all looks. 7 games in, Aimee. Gindra top, Osborne second, How Long third, Henty fourth, Holbrook fifth, Giants 6th, Lockhart 7th, Billabong Crows 8th, Murray Magpies 9th, the Saints in 10th, and then Culcan and CDHBU in 11th and 12th respectively. How's that ladder coming across for you right now?
Yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I still think there will be movement. We still have a few rounds left until everyone's played each other. And once we've done that, I'm a lot more comfortable with being able to make some decisions and some thoughts off a ladder. But it's really great to see some teams who were sitting a little bit lower last year moving up, and some teams who we probably thought maybe weren't going to be as strong this year getting a couple of wins on the board. So it's great to see how everyone's improving.
To this weekend's games commencing tomorrow, Osborne at home to Lockhart. It's going to be hard for the away side to bounce back in this one.
Absolutely. Osborne and Lockhart are always a really great matchup. They are each other's closest geographical teams and they have great competitive spirit when they meet. Lockhart's A-grade side have been really competitive so far this year, but Osborne's dominance will probably win them the day.
CDHBU and Culcan could get a good old-fashioned scrap in this one.
Neither of these teams have had a win so far this season. It'll be great to see either team get on the board. The key for both of them will be a consistent 4 quarters and maximising the opportunities that come their way. CDHBU with the home ground advantage are the pick for me.
Murray Magpies won't get within a shadow of Gindra tomorrow, Aimee.
Magpies have had a great winning streak of games, and that brings confidence, and confidence can do a lot. They did have a tough start to the season, and it's been fantastic to see them put some wins on the board. Gindra, however, have been a formidable force, as we know, so far this season. They will have at least one player out, but I think they'll still take the win.
Game of the round, is it between Holbrook and Henty?
My opening sentence is this is the match of the round for me. Absolutely. Holbrook have been really consistently performing. They have great height and discipline across their court. Henty are very much still a dark horse. We don't know what they're capable of at full strength. They have so much enthusiasm and drive alongside an excellent balance of youth and experience. It will go absolutely down to the wire, this one in my head, but Holbrook and their height might win it out for me. In saying that, though, will not be surprised if Henty are the winners.
All right, Giants travel to Brocklesby, Burrumbuttock to take on the Saints at the Recreation Reserve there. How do you see it going?
Giants will be looking to continue their strong form after a good win against CDHBU and play the 4 consistent quarters, capitalise on turnovers and really make their best of their opportunities to fight for a final spot. BB Saints are coming off a tough game against Magpies and they'll be looking to bounce back. They'll want to start their winning streak again. It will be a good game. My tip is Giants. But importantly, it's a huge game for both clubs, being the MND Big Freeze fundraiser, and both clubs are coming together to raise funds and awareness surrounding the disease, alongside supporting a local from BB Saints who's been affected.
Well, we hope it all goes well. Final game to discuss. How Long and the Billabong Crows going at it. Can the Crows put some pressure on How Long?
Certainly, I think they can. Billabong Crows are a very capable, very talented team. How Long had a tough start to the season. They've shown some brilliant form, experience and depth. Billabong Crows, unfortunately, have been dealt a pretty harsh end of the stick with injuries, but they've showcased the depth across their club with lots of players stepping up into A grade. This game will be a good one with plenty of knowledge across both sides and experience. How Long may get the gong for me in this one.
There we have it. That rounds things out. Aimee Riley, lovely to chat to you, and good luck with seeing all these games play out, hopefully in a competitive manner across the weekend. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so much, Alice. We'll chat soon.